This is the Axminster Professional AP2920B Bandsaw. I received it yesterday on a pallet. I posted a video yesterday of taking it off the pallet, getting it into the workshop and assembling it. Today I'm going to go through the setup after it's been assembled. Before we start centering the blade, we've got to make sure that the tension is correct. Now, inside the saw, next to the top wheel, you'll see there's a little tensioning guide there, and I've got a 1/2 inch bandsaw blade in mine. That looks like it's perfect to me, so when it's come from the factory it's already been set. Now if you want to adjust the tension, this is not an ideal camera setup, but it's the only way I can figure of doing it. So I'm turning that clockwise and you can see the tension is going up, and now I'm turning it anti-clockwise and you can see it's going down. So the tension's set correctly, I can carry on with the first step. So step one of the setup is to actually track the blade on the wheels. Now the blade should be in the center of the wheels, and you can see there's a convenient window there if I pan out, so that you can see what the tracking's doing from the outside of the machine, which I think is very good. Now the blade should be in the center, so from the tip of the tooth to the edge of the blade at the back should be in the center of the wheel. Now that to me looks reasonably central, but if you want to adjust that position, slacken this locking wheel off, which allows you to adjust this here. I'm going to turn it a 1/4 turn clockwise. There, I'm going to spin that round. So now you can see that the blade has moved across to the right as we're looking at it. So if I go 1/2 turn anti-clockwise, which is roughly there, spin the wheel, then you can see that the blade has moved over to the left as we're looking at it. So, and I want to turn it a 1/4 turn clockwise to get it back in the middle again. So I'm going to do that now. I'm happy with that. I'll just lock this so it doesn't move. And that is the blade centered. Yeah, so that's that finish. I'm happy with that. One thing I forgot to mention is this is the tension release system on the saw, which is a brilliant system. It takes the tension off the blade just by moving this lever. So make sure, you see how that's moved down? That's the tension off, and when I pull it down and it slips into position, you'll see that that's moved up. So you've got to make sure that this lever is fully downwards as well. Otherwise you won't be able to tension the blade. So the next step is to set the bearing guides on the blade. Now, I've dropped this down, the height adjustment. If you want to actually move that, you've got to slacken this locking knob there, and then you can raise or lower the height adjuster, which I think is another smashing system. I really like that, and there's a lovely feel to that as I'm winding it up. So I'll just nip that up so it's tight. So this is a close-up view of the guide bearings. Now these are the top ones, and these are easy to get to. And even though the ones below are identical, they're quite difficult to get to. So we'll adjust the top ones and the bottom ones, but I'll be able to show you a lot better on the top ones how to adjust them. The first thing we've got to do is to set the position of the side bearings on the blade. Now it should be 2 millimeters below the gullet, which is the gap, which is the lowest point in the blade there between the teeth. So it should be 2 millimeters behind that. I think it's reasonably accurate where it is now. It's obviously been set up in the shop. There are 2 little grub screws in here, so I'm going to slacken them off. That allows you to slide the whole assembly backwards and forwards. So I'm going to set that so it's 2 millimeters in from the gullet there. I actually think it's okay where it is, so I'm going to nip it up at that. There we go. Now I'm going to adjust the first guide bearing. It's the one that prevents the blade from moving towards the camera. So in order to move that, I've got to slacken off this thumb screw. So I've done that. So now that I've slackened the thumb screw off, look what happens when I turn this nailed knob here. Look, it moves the bearing towards the blade. Now you can see it's touching the blade there. So I'm going to slacken it off very slightly, 1/2 millimeter, and then tighten the thumb screw on the side. Now I've got to do the same for the one on this side. Now look, you can see it's stopping the blade from moving too far, so I'll slacken this off. So it's touching. Just making some fine adjustments there. I think that's pretty good. There, I'm happy with that. So I'll tighten both them up properly. There we go. And there we go. So they're the side bearings done. This is the thrust bearing. In the instructions it says loosen the thumb screw, but I can't for the life of me see a thumb screw that will do that. So I'm assuming that we need to actually loosen this. Yeah, so we have to loosen that and slide it forwards and backwards. Now this wants to be approximately 1 millimeter behind the blade. So remember, this is powered off. I actually unplugged it, so I'm not actually working on a machine that's capable of starting. And this is a bit fiddly, so I think the best way to do it is to leave the Allen key in. There we go. So that's the top set of guide bearings set up to prevent too much movement backwards and too much movement sideways. I've got to do the same on the bottom ones now. So you can see them, they're behind that red cover. The wheel on the top is what I would call the thrust bearing, and then the two roller bearings on the side are under the safety guide there. First thing I'm going to do is remove the two safety guards. There we go. To actually set the side bearings to the right distance on the blade away from the gullet, you've got to slacken these two Allen screws off and literally slide it forwards and backwards, which I think is a little bit naff really, considering it's professional equipment. I'm kind of thinking it wants to be about there, so I'm going to tighten that up, being careful not to move it. There, so that's the gullet distance set correctly. Next I'm going to do this thrust bearing. So in order to move that, I've got to slacken off this Allen screw. Now I can't do it with this Allen key that's provided by the manufacturer, which I find seriously annoying, but I've got one that'll fit. I'll slacken that off. There we go. And then if you see this nailed knob on the top, if I turn that clockwise and anti-clockwise, then that thrust bearing moves. So I'm going to take it into the blade, which is there, come back about 1 millimeter, then I've got to tighten that Allen screw again. There we go. So before I move the camera around, I want you to take a note of this little hole there with a pin in it. That pin's connected to this side bearing, and we're going to be using that in a second. So now I've got to set these two side bearings to be 0.5 millimeter away from the blade. So to do that, we slacken off these Allen screws in the middle here. And you can slide that now backwards and forwards. So I want it about there. There, I'm happy with that. So that's that one done. I've got to do the same on the other side. About there. Yes, there. Right, now you can see how fiddly that is, and it is not an exact science. You've just got to do the best you can because there's no fine tune on it. And I think they should have a fine tune on it for a professional machine, but there you go. That's top and bottom set of bearings done. I've got to put the safety guards on now. I won't actually film that, but I'll put them back on. So the next step is to align the table with the blade. I bought this UJK bandsaw buddy, I don't know, 2 or 3, maybe 4 years ago from Axminster Power Tools, and this is ideal for setting up the table to the blade. But if you haven't got one of these things, you can use a ruler. But I will point this out, and the thing that's good about it is you'll notice it's got 2 magnets there that fit on the blade. Now this indent on this side is to allow for the kerf of the teeth. If I put this on the bandsaw blade, I make sure that the indent is where the teeth are, and then I know that that is in line with the blade. Now I can see just by looking at that it's going to need some adjustment. If you don't have one of these, then you can use a good straight ruler. It's got to be a decent one, and you've got to make sure that it's between the teeth on the blade. Now I've not got this machine plugged in. Push it against the blade, but don't push it too hard. Measure the distance between the straight edge and the mitre slot, and that's about 137.5, and if I come on this end, it's 134. So I've made sure that the 4 hex screws that are on the table are now slacked off, and you can see now that I can move that table flat against the blade. That's 139, 130. See what that's like. Right, so that's taken me about 10 minutes to get this table where it wants to be, but now I'm 136 on this side and 136 on that side. So now I need to tighten it up and hopefully not move it. So I've just tightened it up reasonably tight, but not fully tightened. That's 136. That's 136. So I'm going to tighten it up properly now. Okay, so that's everything nipped up. The table is now lined up with the blade. The next step is to square the table to the blade. Now, use a decent set square to do this. Don't use one that's got any sort of damage to it, because it's important that you get this right. And I can see a gap there between the bottom of my square and the blade, so it needs adjusting slightly. The adjustment for that is under the table. If I zoom out, you can see where it is. Now that's a physical stop that allows you to tilt the table for cutting mitres and then push it back. That physical stop makes sure that the table returns to 90 degrees, and that is where we make the adjustment. In the instructions it says to unlock the table, so that's slack, and then what you've got to do is line the blade up with the set square. So I'm just trying to tilt it slowly. Not quite there yet. That's perfect. There's no light coming through the edge there, and then it says to lock the table. So that's it locked. So now what we have to do is slacken off this locking nut at the top here and drop this down until it touches the top of this protrusion here. 13mm. So I'm going to turn that now, and that is now touching the bottom here. So I'm holding that in position and locking that. So that's it done. Tilt the table back, slide it up against the stop. That is perfect. So I'll lock this in place. The next step is to align the fence with the blade. Now remember, the table's already aligned with the blade, so in order to do that, we just make sure that the fence is in line with the mitre slot. Actually, this is spot on. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it slightly so you can see how we do this. To align the fence, we slacken off these 4 set screws. And now you can see we've got a lot of movement on that. So I've lined up this edge with the mitre slot, and I've lined up this edge with the mitre slot, and all I've got to do now is tighten those 4 grub screws. I won't show you that, I'll just do it. So I'm just wanting to throw myself under a bus at the moment, because I'm following the instructions that are on the PDF document, and I've just aligned the fence to the blade. The next step is to make sure that the fence is perpendicular. In order to do that, I've got to slacken off the 4 set screws that I've just tightened up to align the table with the mitre slot. So surely it would make common sense to set the 90-degree angle first and then actually line the table up with the mitre slot. Because as soon as I slacken these off now, I'm going to move the setup that I've done to line the table up with the blade or the mitre slot. So I just think some thought needs to go into these things, honestly. So there's my trusty set square, and it is absolutely spot on. So it's come out of the factory spot on. So if we look on this side, you can see the set screws that I've already adjusted. The back of this one and the front of that one, at the back there is a grub screw. You can see there's a grub screw there and a grub screw there. They are how you adjust the fence to make it perpendicular. So we have to slacken off the 4 set screws that I've just used for aligning it to the mitre slot, and then adjust these 4 grub screws so that the fence is perpendicular to the table. So I'm going to slacken these off. Now these need to be slackened off a fair bit so that you can actually work the grub screws enough. I am going to adjust the 2 grub screws on the left hand side as you're looking, and that should push the fence out of perpendicular. So I'm tightening the first one, and yes, I can see it moving this way now. Yeah, I can see it moving. I don't know whether you guys can, but it's come out of perpendicular now. No gap at the top, gap at the bottom. So I'm going to reverse what I've done, and there, it's perpendicular again. So now I've got to retighten the 4 set screws. Luckily it doesn't look like it's moved the fence out of alignment with the mitre slot, which is good. There. So the next step is to fit the fence scale on the bar. Slide the fence until it's just touching the blade but not pushing it. Line up the 0, then I'm going to mark the 10 with a pencil. Move the fence out the way. So there's my mark. Now I've wiped this to make sure there's nothing on there that's going to stop it from sticking. Peel off the backing strip. There's the 10. So line that up on there. So that's stuck. Just cut that off. Never did a very good job of cutting that, but it doesn't matter. It says in the instructions to repeat for right hand fence use. Now to convert for right hand use, you've got to slacken off the 2 locks there, pull off the fence. We've removed that, so we flip it over to the other side, then slide on the fence, tighten up the clamps. There. So same again for the scale. We've got to slide the fence up till it's touching the blade. Slide the scale underneath the clamp, set the 0. This time I'm going to mark 20. So I've stuck this down, lining up the 20 mark, and cut the end off. So that's the scale fitted for either side, right and left. The last thing is to set up the mitre fence. Slide that into the slot, move the fence up close to the blade, and then use your set square. That is spot on. I don't need to adjust that at all. So if the 0 was out, all I do is slacken these 2 set screws off like so, and you can see we can change the position of the 0, and put that back at 0 there, and then retighten these up. So that is a full setup of the new saw. Obviously now that I'm going to start using it, you don't have to adjust everything all the time. Most of the stuff will stay steady. I won't be taking the table and moving that around at all, so that shouldn't move. You might have to adjust things, you know, again in the future if things do move slightly, but basically it's all ready to go now. So I'm just going to run a piece of wood through it, my first piece of wood through it, and I'll just see what it's like to use. So that's my dust extractor on. I'm going to take a slither off this just to see what it's like. Now that is a joy. I am so impressed. My old bandsaw, there's no way I could have done that with it. Anyway, so that completes the setup. I hope you've enjoyed that, and in the near future I'm going to be reviewing this machine as well, so keep your eyes open for that if you fancy watching it. I hope you found this useful. Thank you very much for watching, and please take care.